well, we might as well go ahead and kick it off. So welcome everybody to our first BCA meeting of the year. We really appreciate everybody being here with us, especially with the sunshine today. I know it's hard to resist the urge to go outside and take a walk instead. So we're really glad to have you. And we're really happy to have Jim Trujillo join us. He is with ARGI. So he is a certified financial planner and a professional plan consultant for ARGI. Since 2013, he's provided personal financial planning services to individuals and retirement planning services to business owners, plan administrators, and retirement committees. A focus of his is customizing financial wellness programs for over 75 companies throughout Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. As a former actor and graduate of the University of Kentucky Theater program, he utilizes his thespian training to promote participant education and engagement through large group presentations, webinars, videos, and one-on-one meetings with participants. His passion is based in educating individuals on their financial wellness and helping them achieve their personal financial goals. So thanks so much for joining us, Jim, and I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. And I'm very, very excited for the opportunity to be speaking with all of you all today on something that has impacted all of us and all of our people. And that is how COVID has really changed the way we should all be looking at benefits. And most importantly, how people will be changing after COVID, including ourselves. So I've given this presentation before. I really enjoy doing it because it is really telling a lot of different stories and helping you all better understand the importance of seeing different perspectives and understanding those different perspectives of the people that you are serving, which is your employees. So the topic is embracing innovation after an interruption, the pandemic's impact on employee wellness and benefits. So I'm going to start with telling a little bit about myself and my story. Again, thank you, Allison, for a great introduction. My name is Jim Trujillo. I'm a certified financial planner, a graduate of the University of Kentucky, where I got a degree in theater. I'll save my story for another time with you all of how I got to this place, being a financial advisor. But I do absolutely love getting to talk to some local Lexington people. And continuing on my story, I am a millennial. I know that's kind of a weird way to introduce yourself, but it's something I want you all to continue to think about. Again, perspectives are incredibly important, knowing where people are in their life when you're trying to provide certain benefits. Understanding what is important for them is going to help you understand how you as a company or you as an HR person can help them the most. I'm a husband, a dad of two wild boys. You'll see them here in the bottom right-hand screen. That's Teddy is the oldest and Rudy is the youngest. We did have Rudy, actually, he was born on January 20th of 2020. That was the first confirmed case, the first day of the first confirmed case in our country. So that kind of set the pace for what I would be going through, me and my family would be going through as we're raising our family in the middle of a pandemic. As a retirement planning advisor, that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I hear a lot of different stories before, during, after the pandemic. I continue to hear people's perspectives, your people's perspective of where they are in their life. You know, it's really difficult for people to want to open up about their finances. I feel very fortunate that people do come to trust me very quickly and want to open up about where they are, what their needs are, what their troubles are right now financially. So I'm hoping that I can share some of those different perspectives today and get you all to realize that everyone went through something different. We have a lot of commonalities, but as we're crafting our benefits and our comp and other ways we want to incentivize our people, it's incredibly important to know those different stories. A little bit more information about ARGI. If you've never heard of us, we are a local RIA firm, a full financial service firm across Kentucky in the South and the Midwest. We have 9 different locations. We're now over 200 employees. I've been with ARGI for about 8 years. and I was employee number 40 something. So it's incredible to see the fast growth that we've had. And now we are up to over $3 billion in assets under management. So incredibly fast growing company. And I like to believe that it is really because of the mission that we hold so closely to ourselves and truly believe in, which is improving the lives of people around us. As a 401k advisor, I get to do that every day. I get to help the people, the participants, your employees, as I'm sitting down with them, helping them achieve retirement readiness, or a lot of times just helping them even just speak to a financial advisor, which a lot of times they maybe would have never had the ability to do that. We offer many different services with that same mission in our heart and in our mind of helping whoever we can, whether it's individuals, small businesses, corporate executives, HR professionals. We believe that we have over time created many different services and many different solutions to improve the lives of those people. But at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is just help as many people as we possibly can. Our key takeaways for today's presentation is really going to be focused on how COVID has shaped the employer sponsors benefits landscape, industry trends that we see arising from the pandemic, and discovering opportunities for growth through these hardships that we all went through. Why is this important? Well, through the pandemic, we're getting a lot of really interesting stats, a lot of really interesting information, again, seeing these different perspectives, seeing commonalities. And one stat that stands out to us is that 51% of Americans say their lives will remain significantly changed even after the pandemic is over. Breaking that down into even more detail, the younger you are, the more you believe that to be true. But the average still stays right around 50% of people are saying that their lives are going to remain significantly changed after the pandemic is over. So with that uncertainty of my life is going to change, I'm just not sure how it's going to change, causes a lot of stress. And we all know that there is stress in the workforce. We see it as HR professionals, we see it as executives, leaders of our company. And a lot of times it comes in the form of presenteeism. If you've never heard that term, I like to use an analogy. Every March, we come across a great sporting event that leads to a certain level of lost productivity. As a UK graduate, and I'm sure a lot of Lexington locals, unfortunately, March might not be as much fun as it usually is this year. Fingers crossed, maybe we can sneak in, but I'm talking about March Madness. I know here in ARGI, we have a lot of sports fans. Every time March Madness comes around, our bandwidth goes down a little bit because everyone is really focused more on something outside of their current responsibilities and tasks. Their mind is somewhere else. That is presenteeism. And it's not always going to be about a fun sporting event. It's going to be about what is on their mind based on where they are in their life. For me, my mind is constantly on daycare, taking care of my kids, the cost associated with that. If you're closer to retirement, a lot of times it's going to be, can I retire? Am I on track to be able to do that? And then there's many different other perspectives along the way and in between there, all leading to, I'm not necessarily very focused right now on what I'm supposed to be doing. My mind is on my finances, my family, my friends, my health, all of these other things outside of there. And COVID didn't help that at all. It actually really amplified it. A 2019 census survey showed that 11% of adults were admitting to some level of depression or anxiety. Now add in a pandemic that resulted in health scares, people constantly wondering, am I going to get COVID? Is my family going to get COVID? Am I going to die from COVID? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to have a reduction in my salary or my workload? I heard so many different stories from friends, families, and the people that I work with. I was going to graduate. I've always had a dream of being able to graduate and in person, walk down that aisle, whether it's graduating or getting married. You have this great vision of what it's going to be, but now there's the stress of doing it in the middle of a pandemic. So with those different stories that you're hearing, you can imagine that the levels of stress are going to be so much higher than they've ever been before. So surveys are now showing that the 11% typical level of depression and anxiety has come up to 35%. So you can imagine that 35% of your population, 35% of your people are going through some level of depression or anxiety. You have to take that into consideration, and you have to be thinking about, what does that mean in the long term for these people? How can I help them get through that? I've never personally seen anything like this in my life. I have a lot of people that I look up to, that I ask for their perspective quite often on different things. One of those people is my Mimi, my grandmother, Norma Trujillo. She is an amazing person. She's incredibly sharp. Even at 92 years young, she still has a memory far greater than mine. So I always like to ask her about these types of things and see what she compares it to. Again, asking her perspective. She was a nurse in the Air Force and an elementary school teacher. I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. And as this was starting in 2020 and going through it, I'd call her and I'd say, Mimi, I can't make sense of what's going on. I've never seen something like this at all. What would you compare it to? People are stressed out. Businesses are shuttering their doors. What does this look like to you? And she, without hesitation, said, I compare it to World War II. One of the worst wars that our world has ever seen, and all of the stress included in that. And she, without hesitation, compared the current situation that we're going through to World War II. I found that incredibly interesting because around the same time, the president of our company, Neil Quinlan, was giving us what I would essentially call a battle cry. He knew what we were going to go through was going to be incredibly difficult. And he is not new to helping people through stress, including himself. He was a special forces team leader in the US Army. So talk about knowing stress, talk about helping people through it. And what he was essentially telling us is, this is going to be really hard for you as individuals, for you as families, for us as a company. It's going to be incredibly difficult. But we're a growth-minded company. And we're not going to let that stop us from reaching our goal of helping people. We're going to use it, and we're going to apply these following bullet points to get better on the other side. So we tasked each and every one of us with the following questions and finding answers as we're helping our clients. How can we learn from these challenges? How can we turn these obstacles into opportunities? How can we move forward and be even better? He then went on to explain to us what post-traumatic growth is. Richard Tedeschi was one of the doctors who founded this and has done extensive research on this idea, and I think he describes it incredibly well here, what it means. People develop new understandings of themselves, the world they live in, how they relate to people, and the kind of future they might have, and a better understanding of how to live life. So as people are going through trauma, he discovered that people are going to be different once they get through it. They go on to break it down into 5 different categories of how they will be different. The first is an appreciation of life. So as we are all going through some level of trauma, which I believe each and every one of us did in some way through the pandemic, we're going to have a new appreciation for life. There's certain people out there who every day woke up thinking, today's the day, I'm going to get COVID. But as we're getting through it, now they're saying, I didn't get it, or I did get it, and I survived it. But I have a new appreciation for the smaller things in life that I never appreciated before. For example, shaking someone's hand, hanging out with your friends, going to church, giving your Mimi a hug. The small things in life are now incredibly important to people. relationships with others. As you're going through a trauma, one of the most important things you can do after the fact is talk to someone about it. To start that healing process, you're going to need to explain how you feel, and maybe not be open about how you feel, but you're going to want to have someone help you get through it and continue to build relationships stronger than ever before. New possibilities in life. Hey, if I can survive a pandemic, if I can get through a furlough, if I can work through having COVID, all of these different things, all of these different perspectives. Imagine going through them. If you were lucky enough to make it through this completely unscathed, you're very lucky. There's a lot of people that you serve, your employees. Maybe it's their friends, maybe it's their families. A lot of people are going to come out of this and say, I made it out and I want to do better. I want to be better. I wasn't happy before, and now I'm going to find a way to be happy. Maybe it's, I never got that promotion. I'm going to find a place that is going to give me the respect that I feel like I deserve. Personal strength. If I can make it through this pandemic, then I can do anything. Again, it's that thought of, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be stronger. I don't want to have to ever be worried about my finances. I want to be financially stronger. I want to be physically stronger. All of these things are showing up through post-traumatic growth, and people are just wanting to be better than ever before. And lastly, spiritual change.
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties, so let's give us a minute to see if we can get him back on.
I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone.
No problem. We're just glad you were able to reconnect. I know
Me
a lot
too.
of this
I was on a roll there too.
happening.
Come back in and see if I can get back in stride. Can you all see my screen?
Yes. Perfect.
Awesome. So we have been mentioning the idea of post-traumatic growth, the different categories that are involved in the idea of once you go through a trauma, you may start to encounter these thoughts, but why does it matter? And it matters because Tadishi and his group's studies and research did a study on a terrible disaster that happened in 2008. It was the Sichuan earthquake disaster. It led to 90,000 people losing their lives and 375,000 people being injured in southwestern China. So it was a 7.9 magnitude earthquake, leveled approximately 80% of the buildings, leveled them, leading to those deaths, leading to those injuries. What they did was go in 1 year later and do a survey on over 2,000 people that were directly impacted. And they found that 50% of the people were going through post-traumatic growth in some way. So this is incredibly important because it's showing us that your people, or at least 50% of them, will most likely be going through post-traumatic growth. So I like to ask this question here. Will your company be going through post-traumatic growth? Will your people be going through post-traumatic growth? Which type of people do you want to make sure you keep happy? The 50% that stay in the past, or the 50% that have grown from this? You as a company, do you want to be the company that stays in the past? Or do you want to be the company that grows and gets better in the future? Simon Sinek, I'm sure we've all heard of him. I think he really drives this home in a quote that he was giving early on in the pandemic. And I'll quote it here. These are not unprecedented times. There are many cases, lists of cases, where change or something unexpected has put many companies out of business and made other companies come out stronger and reinvent themselves. So we should say not how will we do what we're doing, but rather how will we do what we're doing in a different world? And the world is different. I think that's incredibly powerful. Saying we shouldn't be thinking of how will we continue to do what we're doing right now. That won't work. And that's what Neil Quinlan was telling us. We're not going to continue to do what we've done because that's not going to help us survive. Our people are saying, I can't continue to do what I've done because I'm not going to be able to survive. You as a company need to ask yourself, do we want to grow or do we want to stay the same? If you're on the call right now, your company probably has adapted in some way. And now you're looking to your people to help them grow and get better. Because again, we've all gone through some trauma. Think about all the stories, think about all the perspectives. Now we need to start talking about how we can help them get better. So you got to ask yourself, how can our company help our employees grow? So through my research, I found a couple of different surveys. The two main ones that stood out to me were what are companies currently doing or planning on doing to support their employees during the pandemic. The survey showed that the main benefits or the main movements that were made to offer support to their employees was providing more flexible work options. We've all been working from home, or for the most part, providing some flexible option there. Placing greater care and emphasis on what and how is communicated to people. Before, maybe it was always done through email or in person, while just walking over to their door and saying, hey, how's it going? What can I help you with? Are you doing okay? Now we're having to innovate. We're having to figure out ways to understand their perspective, to know what is going on with them outside of work and being able to help them. And on top of that, not being able to do that in person because we're all working virtually. Accelerating digital communication for increased outreach to employees. So I know our company has really been working a lot towards providing an intranet, a means to be able to communicate virtually, and embracing that as the new norm. A lot of companies are thinking of ways to do that. The old email, the old phone call, the old just walking to your door. Not going to be able to continue to do that. I truly believe that this has changed the way that we will be communicating with our employees and with each other, with our clients and with our prospects. It's all going to be a different type of digital communication. And we're working through that, and it's showing that companies are leaning in that way too. So the other part that I found really interesting was not just what are you currently doing, but what do you expect to be a permanent fixture going forward? And as you can imagine, it's all around the idea of offering a virtual solution to the problem that they have. Virtual management processes. So before, again, onboarding, all of these different types of things, I'm sure have always been in person. Monthly checkups, quarterly checkups, doing your reviews, all in person. Companies are now saying, well, we've had a whole year of doing this virtually, and it kind of worked. Let's just keep rolling with this and see if this is something that we can do. In addition to that, virtual health and well-being offerings. I know as a 401k advisor, our group was really tasked with accelerating our virtual financial wellness offering to groups. Usually, and still continuing, we like to do it in person if we can. I think there's power in shaking someone's hand and having a conversation with them about their money face to face. But that's not going to always be the way that the world is going to work going forward. There's going to be companies that say, we have totally adapted and adopted virtual solutions going forward. Our people are going to work from home. We're now hiring people from all across the country. It's really opened up the talent pool. We need to be able to do this in person if they want, and also virtually if they want. Virtual learning models. You have your onboarding, but in addition to that, you're going to have to teach your people virtually. However you do that, shadowing through Zoom meetings, creating these virtual criteria and curriculum to help your new hires get up to speed. Before it was, I'm sure, we're going to teach you exactly how to do this in person. You'll watch us. We'll let you apply it. Companies are saying, we may not be going back to the office in the same way that we did. We have to come up with ways to be more virtual. So considering post-traumatic growth, how do we utilize these adaptations as part of a benefits package? I think it always goes back to consider your workforce demographics. Again, I know it's really strange for me to say, hey, my name's Jim, I'm a millennial. And I'm not always going to introduce myself that way, but I want to make the point that we should be thinking as we're creating benefits package, where people fall in their financial life. As I'm sitting down with 401k participants, I'm helping them create a roadmap to retirement readiness. It's not a straight line at all. There's curves, there's obstacles, sometimes you get off track. You have to know that people are going to be at a certain place on their own retirement readiness roadmap, and you have to help them where they are on that roadmap. Throwing a bunch of solutions at them might not always be what's best for them. You have to really consider where they are and what is on top of their mind right then, if you want to provide them with the tools that they need to grow after this trauma that we've all gone through. Going back to the 5 categories that post-traumatic growth really inspires us to think about: appreciation of life, relationships with others, new possibilities in life, personal strength, and spiritual change. I know that it's very, very difficult for most companies to be considering adding new benefits, such as student loan repayment options, enhanced 401k matches. HSA matches, all of these different types of things that you typically hear. We just went through an economic crisis. We know that companies aren't going to have the ability to add these new expensive benefits. And I don't necessarily think that matters. I don't think that's what people are going to be looking for right away. If your company has the ability to do it, it can help. But I want you to get your mind off of employee benefits and think more of employee perks. How am I going to be able to help my people right now coming out of this trauma? What are they looking for? These are the things that they're going to be looking for. And it's very easy and very cheap for you to come up with some perks that you can offer that will help them get there. Perks that celebrate life. Right now in the moment, I want to be living my life to the fullest. I made it through a 1.5 year, a 2-year-long pandemic. I want to be out there and spending time with my family, spending time with my friends, traveling, things like that. I need convenience so that I can go do the things that I want to do. Sitting at my desk all day long isn't exciting. I'm going to find a place that is going to let me live my life, celebrate my life. And there's some perks around that. It can be more flexible work options, working remotely, space sharing, job sharing. And that's a newer concept of, maybe someone is nearing retirement and this has really kicked them over the edge of, I was on the fence about retiring. I survived a pandemic. Every day I thought I was going to catch it and die. So now I don't want to work anymore. I want to go ahead and I want to retire. That can be a little bit difficult for a company to handle. So there's the thought of, well, give us 6 months, give us a year, give us just a couple of months, and we can share your job, give you some extra time so that you can start practicing your retirement and ease into it. And we'll be getting this person up to speed. So what is a typically 50-hour work week? 25 hours for each person. Let this new hire transition into the role, continuing to let this person get paid, enjoy the benefits, and ease into retirement. I think it's a great perk for some people in certain circumstances. Shared services. This might be getting a little bit more into offering benefits, but still nonetheless, great perks to help you celebrate life, giving them time and convenience so that they can go do the stuff that they really want to do outside of work. On-site childcare could be expensive, I know, but as a millennial, I love that idea. Convenience is everything to me when I'm working on 3 hours of sleep and I have to go into work, drop my kids off, pick the kids up, get them home. The thought of having the extra hour in my day because I don't have to drive through Louisville traffic to get to my daycare, just having that extra hour a day, it is so important. It's so powerful. On-site fitness centers, going into, again, people want to be better. They're going to want to be stronger than ever before. Giving them the convenience to being able to do it right on site, that is a perk that is going to help them celebrate their life. Giving them the time in the day to say, I'm doing me for a little bit. I'm going to go down to that gym, I'm going to unplug, and I'm going to meditate on myself and celebrate my life and my health. Shared health clinics, this is another thought. If you work in a business center, you have a couple of different buildings around you, maybe it's good to consider a shared health clinic. I've heard of groups coming together, popping up a health clinic in one of their empty offices, sharing the cost of that, and the convenience is that they don't have to go take a half day to drive across the city to go to their healthcare provider. It's just right there in their backyard, and it's very, very easy, very, very convenient for them to make sure that they're staying healthy. Next up is perks that build relationships. Again, I know I'm an extrovert as a theater major, love to talk to people, as you can probably tell. I'm really excited to get back out there and start building relationships with people and a lot of others who maybe aren't extroverts. even those introverts, maybe they don't necessarily want to be out there in the middle of the spotlight, but they're going to want to get out there and they're going to want to rekindle old relationships or just start seeing people, hearing people, building on those relationships. This is where you can really get into some ideas of inexpensive perks that are going to help people build on those relationships that they're going to be craving after that trauma they went through. So this could be discount tickets to parks or to zoos, local science centers, the baseball games around you all. I know we now have a professional soccer team here as well. Things like that. Give them the ability to go, give them one night of discounted tickets, something like that, so that they can all get together and celebrate the relationships that they have. Floating holidays, I always like this one, giving people the idea or the ability to take their birthday or to take some additional holiday off and allow them to do what they want with their friends in their family. Social rooms, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Maybe just taking an empty space that you all have in a building, popping up a ping pong table or a pool table or something like that, somewhere where it's okay to come together and be social again. It's going to be really awkward at first. I've been dealing with people, not in person as much as I would like, have had the few opportunities to do it. It's going to be weird at first. People are going to be really weird. Oh, do I shake your hand? Do I not? I really want to hug you. I probably shouldn't do that. We have to give them the opportunity to work through that. Eventually, that's not going to be the case anymore. And people are really going to be wanting that. People are really going to be craving it. What better way than to do it with a simple social room, throw a couple of board games in a room, a place where people can sit down and just start talking with each other again. Company sponsored activities, not necessarily very expensive. Bring a food truck to your workplace. We've done that here at ARGI a couple of times, and I promise you, if you look out your window and you see the people standing in line for that food, you're going to see nothing but smiling faces. You don't even have to pay for it. Just bring the truck here and see the social activities start. Giving them, again, the platform to start having those conversations again is incredibly important. Trivia night, we've had a couple of trivia nights here, and they were a blast. I'm not very good at it, but I like to watch everyone nerd out and see who's got what it takes to be the trivia champion. And it brings a lot of people together. Whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter. Again, it's all about making memories with your coworkers. Maybe it's a bingo night, something like that. Whatever it might be, whatever you think your group is into. Give them the opportunity. It's very easy to coordinate, and a lot of times it's free or very, very low cost. And your people will greatly appreciate you just coordinating it and giving that platform to them to build on those relationships. Perks that promote a healthy lifestyle. We're going to want to be stronger. We're going to want to be better. We survived the pandemic. Now I've always wanted to be a bodybuilder. I'm making that up. I'm not going to be a bodybuilder. That sounds incredibly hard to do, but some people might. They're going to want to be stronger and better than ever before. Maybe it's helping them with the gym membership. Maybe it is providing something as simple as standing desks or just a stipend towards it, not paying the whole amount, but hey, we'll give you $30, $25 towards a standing desk if it's something that you really want. Mental health or mindfulness workshops. This is something that I know was incredibly powerful here at ARGI. I have a coworker that has always preached meditation, and he's also a very goofy guy, and we were like, yeah, you're crazy, man. No one wants to meditate. Like, but the pandemic started. He said, this is going to be more important now than ever. And he started a class every other day, 9 o'clock, 10 minutes. He would play a meditation soundtrack, a guided meditation. At first, very, very low turnout, maybe 2 or 3 people. Halfway through the year, he was having 15 to 20 people every single day attend this 10 to 15 minute meditation class. It is something that people really want. Just 10 minutes to myself to say, I'm going to catch my breath. I'm going to get my mind right. I'm going to try and be better than I was before. Grocery delivery could be a really, really cool option. Again, going in line with convenience. People want time. People want healthy options. Grocery delivery can do that for you. Perks that support financial wellness. This is something as a 401k advisor I have seen really ramping up. People have had a lot of time on their hands throughout the pandemic. People have also been hearing stories or living these stories of, I didn't have an emergency fund, I lost my job. I wish I would have been told what that meant and the importance of it. There was a recent study that showed 4 out of 10 people don't have the means to cover a $400 emergency event. 4 out of 10 people can't cover $400. That is just basic financial literacy, providing them the information that they need to create an emergency fund. So this can come in a lot of different forms. Sometimes it can come through your current benefits vendor that you use or your 401k plan. It can come in the ways of financial coaching, transition services. So if you were one of the many different companies that had to make a really difficult decision about the people that you had, and you had to furlough or you had to let go, transition services can help you with that in the way that we regret to inform you, we have to let you go. It's not an easy decision, but we do know this will be difficult for you. We want to provide you with financial advisors who will be able to help you understand what this will look like and how to get through it. Emergency savings account contributions. This is something you can set up a lot of times, just a direct ACH to a savings account and saying, hey, you got your checking account, we wire you your paycheck every pay period, but now you have the ability to put 20 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever it is, towards a savings account. Earmark this as your emergency savings fund. And just again, that's not going to cost anything probably, but it's going to give people peace of mind knowing that they now have the ability to save towards an emergency fund. Again, just financial wellness. Student debt loan repayment is something that has become easier and easier to provide as there's been new legislation coming out recently that allows companies to make pre-tax payments to pay off student loan debt. So it's a taxable benefit for both the employer and the employee. As a millennial, I consider myself incredibly lucky to have just paid off my student loan debt. It takes 10 years. A lot of times it takes much longer than that. And it was an incredibly heavy burden weighing on your younger generations. As you're hiring the Gen Zs now, they're going to have the same exact situation. Think about how powerful it would be to say, we know what you're going through in terms of finances. You're not going to want to save into your 401k plan. You're not going to want to save into an emergency fund. You have tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, and we want to help you with that. So we're going to be helping you pay that down as you continue to work with us. Imagine having that conversation. Imagine that person hearing that from their employer. It shows that you care. It shows that you listen. It shows that you really want to help them grow and be better. Home loan assistance. This could be something as simple as getting a relationship, building a partnership with your local bank, and saying, we have X amount of employees. They are typically this amount of people looking to buy a new home or refinance their loan every year. Can you cut us a deal? And then just having that on file. Hey, I heard you're looking for a new home. We have a really great partnership with this company that will offer you what we believe is an incredibly fair rate, and we trust them. Just giving them the option of a trusted partner can really help with financial wellness. So as you're building out these new perks, as you're thinking of ways to help your employees as they're getting out of this trauma that we know of as COVID-19, this global pandemic, you don't have to do it by yourself. There's so many different resources out there. I'm sure many of you attend your local SHRM chapters or follow their web pages. HR publications like HR Pros magazine, I find them to be incredibly helpful, provide a lot of great resources. The American Benefits Council, also a great resource. Find a specialist partner. ARGI, not trying to sound biased here, but we do this really well, but there's a lot of great groups out there who can help you with your benefits, with your perks, with your education. Help them, help your people. And it just starts by doing a little bit of research, and here are some great resources for you. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, I always like giving this one, telling stories, helping you understand the perspectives that your different people are going to have. And I'd like to go ahead and open it up for some Q&A.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to unmute and ask them to Jim directly, or you can put them in the chat and we're happy to share. But thanks, Jim. That was really helpful. I like some of those ideas. We might have to implement them in our own team about the trivia night, and potentially, I think we already have a mini ping pong set that's supposed to attach to a conference table. So maybe we can set that up since we aren't using our conference room.
There you go, right? We have a great area, and pre-COVID, and I know post-COVID, it will be a very happening spot. I'm sure 5:30, 6 o'clock rolls around, you want to hang out with your friends, your coworkers, just quick 15, 20-minute get together. People are going to want that. I know they are. I know I want it. I'm looking forward to it. It can't come soon enough, but yeah, it doesn't have to be this elaborate space, just some small space with a pop-up ping pong table or something like that.
I love it. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Jim? All right. Well, it seems like you covered everything.
I guess I crushed it, right?
Yeah. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you speaking to us. That was really helpful. And for everybody on the call, our next meeting is April 28th. So we'll send out information in advance of that on what that topic will be. And yeah, thanks again for joining us, Jim, and thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.